Welcome to my home. I'm going to be talking about family today. And I don't know if you notice that my hair is unbelievably beautiful and well groomed or not. I married into an amazing family. The Dennis Watkins family. One of my uncles, his wife and daughter were at our house last night. So because of him, I refuse to comb my hair. And I love having my hair just trashed all over the place. Because who cares? Who cares? Are you all fixing your hair up like mine now? Come on, please. Get your hair looking like mine. My Uncle Ralph is a nuclear physicist that it's not my Uncle Ralph, it's my wife's Uncle Ralph, who is one of these brilliant geniuses, Einstein-type people that knows so much about so much stuff that I will never know. That I love visiting them. Whenever I go down to Los Alamos and spend time with them, I never comb my hair because Ralph never combs his hair. And it is just such a releasing, wonderful time. So I want to tell you a story about my childhood. Growing up in a fishing village on the east coast of Taiwan, it has two names. The fishing village was called Chunggong, but another older name is Xingang. Xingang means New Harbor, Chunggong means success. And it's the center for the Amish people, which my dad was the linguist that did the Bible translation and all the work of educating the Amish people on their own language, how to read and write their own language and all that stuff. Every afternoon at 4 p.m., we would go down to the harbor to see the fishing boats come in and see what they caught. And it was awesome. I saw killer sharks. We actually saw whales. We saw tuna. We saw hammerhead sharks. We have so many stories from that harbor of life, trying to haul in whales and sharks that were too heavy. And so we would join the gangs that would pull them up the ramp onto the harbor. Chunggong was my home. From birth till I was 5 years old, I lived in Chunggong. But, my family struggled. We've had Alzheimer's in our family. My mom and dad's siblings have all died of Alzheimer's except for one. We have one uncle who's over 90 years of age and his mind is clearer than my mind, brilliant, and we're going, oh, he's our hero. But of the other 13 siblings, they've all died of Alzheimer's or dementia. And so when we think of family, it's pretty rough. It's pretty tough. But in my family, there's a struggle that on one side, we lived the missionary life in this poor, destitute village, with no electricity. My dad had to light the fire in the water burner to heat water for us to have our bath once a week on Saturday nights or whatever it was. My mom, she cooked in a lean-to for the first 5 or 6 years we lived in this village. She eventually got a kitchen. Life was rough, but we grew up on that. We didn't think of it as rough. That was life. We didn't know any better. Everybody sees hammerhead sharks. Everybody sees whale sharks, tuna, whatever the fish were that we had at the harbor, turtles and all this stuff. Oh, they don't. Okay. They don't all see those. And so as the years have gone on, all of us siblings, all of us children, we've been looking back and trying to evaluate, was our life rough? Did our parents mistreat us? Did we suffer because we had to grow up in a fishing village on the east coast of Taiwan? What were the issues that, made what we became as human beings good or bad? I don't have any answers for these. What I have is Just fun, crazy God stories. It was our home. It's where we grew up. But in the last few years, a number of my siblings have been able to get back to our village, our fishing village of Chonggong. So I want to tell the story of my brother Paul. My brother Paul, it's now 2019, Paul has been fighting Alzheimer's for 7 or 8 years, I think, or dementia. We don't know exactly what it is. It's one form of dementia or not. He's in a wonderful clinic in Baja that both my sister-in-law and my sister are helping him. But a number of years ago, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, they were able to get back to Chonggong. And my niece was able to find them a wonderful hotel in our little fishing village of Chonggong. This is a tribal third world fishing village, and she finds a hotel for them to stay in. They get to the hotel, and it's trash. It's terrible. My sister-in-law goes, "We're not staying here. This is not okay. Even if we have to pay for the 4 or 5 days, we're not staying here. That's it." Oh, she's from Boston, she's tough. So what are they going to do? So they find their way back into the little town of Chonggong. We're talking about when we grew up there was one road in Chonggong. There were no traffic lights. There's one road. Last time I was there were 7 7-Elevens in Chonggong and about 5 traffic lights. So the world has changed. So they drive into Chonggong and they find a guest house for native Chonggong people. They get in, it's near the harbor, which was the center of our life. They're settling in, and the lady comes up and she starts talking to my brother, Paul, who has dementia. But this harbor, this fishing village, is a big part of our life. And the way my sister-in-law and my niece describe it is they said Paul came alive. And they said they were walking and he was running. He just ran. He would go down to the harbor. He'd come up back to the hotel. He'd run back to the harbor. He was all over the place. He was home. So they're back in the hotel. It's a hostel. It's a guest house. And there's a lady running the hostel. And she goes, "Who are you guys?" And they go, we used to live here years ago. And the lady said, No. Who are you guys? And Paul and my family are saying, "Yeah, this was our town. We used to live here." And she said, "Wait a minute." She called her mother to come over to the hostel. And the mother came over and she said, "Are you Doris's family?" Doris is my father's name in Amish. And my brother Paul goes, "Yeah, I'm his son." Now, they're speaking Amish and Chinese, and my brother Paul only remembers a few words in Mandarin. But his son, Eric, had married a girl from the Philippines who we knew in China for 5 years. I can't tell that whole story right now. It's too complicated. But it's another crazy God story. So this Filipino-Chinese girl is now my nephew's wife, and she's translating back and forth for them. And this grandmother running this hostel with her daughter says, "When I was 17, I was hired by your mother and father, and I took care of you when you were a little boy." Families need healing. For my brother, as he's in his 4th or 5th year of dementia and Alzheimer's, he had a time of pure joy Lunghuts was a teenage girl who got brought into this crazy Western family's home in this fishing village to take care of the children, and we all remember Lunghuts. I was an infant there. My brother Paul was 4 years older than me. He was 6 or 7 when Lunghuts came to our house. I got a chance to go back to Chungung. And I found that hotel that my brother Paul and his family found. And I met Lunghuts. What's family? I kind of made a joke about my hair and my love of my Uncle Ralph in Los Alamos, the crazy scientist. I've been telling you the story of our fishing village and Lunghuts, the young girl that came into our home and changed our lives. It doesn't matter whether your family's rich or poor, whether you grow up in a third world fishing village or New York City or some fancy place, it doesn't matter. It is your community, your family, the people that speak into your life and that change your life. So I wear my hair crazy today because I love my Uncle Ralph, and he's a mad scientist. I love Lunghuts and that fishing village. God gives us families. It's one of the foundations of our world is our family. And what do we put into it? And how do we appreciate and respect and love our families? And then we build families, our marriages, our children, our community. So this is just another one of God's crazy stories. For me, Chungung is my home. It's where I grew up. It's a fishing village. I don't even speak the language of those people anymore. I probably knew it as a little child. But I have so many good memories. The harbor, the beach, the swimming in the ocean, the sound of the waves on the rocks in the beach. Hang on to your family. Bless your family. Build your family. Create your family. It's part of the God story that He wants you to have. Thank you for joining me.